So thank you so much for joining us once again. This is Glopis McKenna, and today I have an amazing guest with me. Kama ulisomea the great Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, then you definitely know who this amazing guy is. He's the legendary, if you know, mnakumbuka kina OJ wataidi hai. You remember ABEL MUTUA, alikuwa Freddy back then. You remember Melvo. This guy has molded amazing celebrities, actors, actresses, when you wote walipitia the great Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. So he'll be telling us his journey, the making of Powerhouse, which is the drama, I think the biggest drama club in Africa, right? The best.
I would say so. In the school's calendar, in the schools and colleges calendar, I would say that's it.
It's the best drama club in Africa. Ikikuja kwa all the schools, campuses, high school, it's the leading campus, the leading drama club in a school setup. So, Mr. BUHERE, the great, one a legend by the way.
Well, they say so, but I'm just, I'm just Wycliffe BUHERE. I'm in Mwalimu, and I love what I do.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So, karibu sana, and thank you for gracing our set.
Asante sana, nimeshukuru. As you said, I'm Wycliffe BUHERE, and these chaps, as we call them, they like calling MUSIANI, and this is a name that they gave me way back in 2000, and that was around when Dennis Itumbi, the likes of Freddie Numuli, and then Tieno, the entire team, the entire Kikosi of 2000-2001, they decided to call me MUSIANI, and MUSIANI is a name which means kijana mtanashati.
Oh, wow.
Kijana mtanashati, and they have actually called me MUSIANI, being a young man, all that time up now, and I still love what they call me. It's a nickname they've given to me, and I do appreciate. It's a name I like.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say so.
So back in 2000, were you a student or or a teacher already?
Not really. I've been a lecturer for quite some time. Well, I have also been able to study at KIMC. Well, I am still on my program as a lecturer, because you do know that we also offer PGD. We offer postgraduate diploma in film directing, and we also offer PGD in mass communication. So while I came to KIMC, I began lecturing. You'll be surprised that I arrived here with the degree in design from the School of Visual Arts from University of Nairobi, what we refer to as ADD, the Department of Architecture, Design and Development. I did design as my first degree, but of course before even going to University of Nairobi, it had been my wish to come to KIMC. And remember those days when we were in school, you were given an option to apply for university program, and if you could not make it, you would then of course again make a similar application, and you would actually choose a tertiary institution. So all along had wished to be in KIMC, but unlucky enough, I passed examination. Unlucky enough, I passed examination, and the then COOP's computer identified me to go to the University of Nairobi to undertake degree in design. But after finishing, I worked at a creative arts center, which was basically in terms of advertising as well as corporate communications in terms of graphic design. I worked there for about 2 years, and then when I was posted to come to government, I was actually posted to come to Kenya Institute of Mass Communication to be a film training officer in the sense that in my degree program, I had covered quite a lot of photography. So when I came to KIMC, I equally enrolled to undertake a diploma. While I'm teaching, I took a diploma in film directing and producing option. And that's how I happened to be at Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, of course, besides many other training programs I have undergone. So by 2000, I was a lecturer. But then I had been identified to patronize the drama club, a very powerful club. That was way back in 1996-7. Of course, we had the legendary Jane Songa of KBC. At that time, earlier, KBC lecturers were also working at KBC. KBC and KIMC were basically one and the same. The two of them were under the departments of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So an officer would work in KBC as a lecturer, then later on at some point go to KBC as an officer. So they were interworking between KIMC, and studios in KIMC were also studios that were being used to produce programs for KBC. Vioja Makamani, we also have Vitimbi. Basically, the Vitimbis were being recorded in KIMC, in our television studio at KIMC. So that's how it was. And so Jen Songa had left. She went to Egypt, and I was identified by then the principal, Mr. Jobo Siako, to come over and take over this club. And I have taken that club to the skies. We have been there. We are still there. And we are showing our thing. We are doing our thing pretty well, courtesy of this strong team that I have called Powerhouse.
So before hata tufike Powerhouse, in the making of Powerhouse, let me take you back kidogo. Definitely these amazing people that you've mentioned, watataka kujua like a background check on you. Like they want to know who is Mr. Buhere.
Yes, yeah.
So where were you brought up, Mr. Buhere?
Mr. Buhere, Wycliffe, they call me Wycliffe, yeah. where I come from.
Musiani.
Musiani. I was born way back in Kakamega North, that is Malava sub-county, that is Kabras, just next to the sugar factory, West Kenya, which produces a flagship product called Kabras Sugar. So I come from Kabras area. That's where I was born very many years ago. Went to Lukume Primary School. After Lukume Primary School, I passed very well. Went to Kolanya High School. Kolanya High School is now in Busia County, Malakisi area. And I was there for 1 year, but then I could not sustain the heat in terms of health. And my parents, after I became sick, transferred me to a school near home, that is Ingose High School. And in Ingose High School, I went there in Form 2 and moved on very well to Form 4. That was an O-level by then. Performed very well. And even after passing to go to Kakamega High School, which was one of the topmost A-level schools in Western Kenya, the principal by then, Mr. Nathan Anaswa, had just left Musingu High School and had come to establish a very strong department of fine art at Ingos High School. So the principal by then, they were called headmasters, Mr. Nathan Anaswa, decided to retain me to do my A-levels at Ingos High School. So that's where I was for A-level. And after passing very well A-level, of course, having taken fine art from Form 5 to Form 6, I passed very well. And then went to do design at the University of Nairobi. And those days to go to university, be it any of the universities, your name must have appeared in Kenya Times. It was not just walking out the way you would walk to KIMC, walk to KU. Yeah. Your name must have appeared in a government newspaper called Kenya Times. And Kenya Times was actually owned by KANU, and you know KANU was government. So anything appearing in a KANU newspaper was basically a government announcement. Yeah. So all of us would be there. Then we are taken to NYS, what we are calling as pre-university training. And then after that one, we come direct to the university program. So basically that's where I've been. And I have worked before as a high school teacher at Ingose High School, same. Then also went to a school called Ekwanda. Ekwanda is actually in Maseno. It's in Maseno West. So that's me.
Have you always loved drama all your life?
I have done drama all my life. In high school, I was basically in drama club, and I was also at one point the chairman of drama club in school at the University of Nairobi. I was, whereas traveling theatre at University of Nairobi was the reserve of those who are doing education and those who are doing mostly BA or literature and linguistics. I was in ADD across the department of, it was basically engineering. And it was actually in the Department of Architecture, Design and Development. I would still be able to participate. But then at the University of Nairobi, I worked out with then Mr. Mulongo Wafuko to begin our kind of traveling theatre where we would be able to perform cultural dances and go to entertain. And we were picked up by KANU, Youth for KANU 92, Youth for KANU 92, YK 92, and we would go and entertain serious meetings that were basically attended by serious people, including then the chairman of YK 92, Cyrus Girongo. And of course, we would go and entertain work-up groups before the entire group comes, and Raj come, His Excellency the President Moi would come, and we have worked up groups, and then we would also entertain. So that day, those days when a university student would participate in something, it was taken to be serious, and therefore people would still be able to come and watch. How can a university student come and perform and dance for us here in Garissa, in Marsabit, in Moyale, in Kwale? And it would be very interesting for the audiences who are then basically, political gatherings. Yes.
Okay, so when you came now to KMC,
Yes.
Was the drama club still called Powerhouse?
No, it wasn't called Powerhouse that time. I would remember that we would participate in the Kenya National Drama Festival on and off. And in '96, when I took over, we had just traveled to Kakamega and performed very well. And remember that time, Mr. Jobo Siako was the national chair of the Kenya National Drama Festival. So he really gave support to the club, and I was the patron. And imagining the national chairman having a very strong club behind him, who's performing at the National Drama Festival. Remember, Mr. Siako had been a principal in various schools before he came to KMC as a principal. He had been at Isili High School, had been at Upper Hill, and we have also a school in Joro High School. So he came in with a lot of understanding of how drama is done in high school. And when he arrived here, given the fact that Kenya School of Mass Communication is a showbiz school, those who are involved in broadcast journalism, those who are involved in television programs production, radio, film production, most of these students have had a lot of interest in talent or talent of some sort from high school. So we took it over by storm, and we began developing that culture of performing arts all the way from '96 coming on to 2000, when we had a very, very vibrant team. Of course, '99 we had a very vibrant team where we have Vincent Atea. Vincent Atea is now with the Citizen Radio. We also had Adhiambo Odera, as he has been with NTV. We have had with McKenna. McKenna came fairly very later on, but we had many others, including Vincent Atea. We had Adhiambo Odera. At that time, a very strong team. Then the news team that brought a lot of vibrancy was the Dennis Itumbe team. Later on, we had Atieno Tieno. We had Ferdinand Freddie Ndumuli. We had the McKenna. McKenna, of course, one of the best DJ female in Africa. Pierre McKenna. She also appeared so much on Tide High before she went to the other field. So that is the time now we worked very well. We came up with a very strong play in Meru called The Portrait. And this was a very serious comedy in English. We had never had comedies being done in English. The only other comedy we'd have was from the Mombasa Polytechnic by then. Very powerful Swahili comedy. But coming with a very nice comedy in English, The Portrait, that was our starting point, 2002 in Meru Nationals. And moving on, we came up with various performances, including the Salt and Sugar in 2003, performing very well. Now, at some point, we were the best overall 3 years running, having the best performing artist, the best actor, the best actress, best costume and decor, best soloist, and that has never happened to any other institution. It was only the Kenya Mass Communication. So the aspect of the Powerhouse was developed slightly around 2000 and 2003, when we then developed our anthem. And we had never had another school that had an anthem of their kind. So we have our anthem. We love to sing the wonders of Powerhouse, as you are. And it was actually developed by Dennis Itumbi, who sat down with the rest of the team, including Pierre McKenna. We also had Ferdinand Omondi. We also had Freddie Ndumuli, Atieno Tieno, who sat down and developed that script that then became the anthem that we have used up to now. A very strong anthem, a very strong team, a very strong powers, I would call it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the secret of staying on top of the game for so long? Because you've molded Watukama, Freddie Ndumuli, you came and molded Kina OJ. Mm-hmm. Like generations after generations. We have a different culture at the Kenya Mass Communication here where we are. Yeah. We have taken drama to be Powerhouse per se. The club is more or less like a movement. It's more or less like a cult, if you like. But I don't want to call it a cult. A cult is something that you take on and believe in it, and you drive, you drink, sleep, and think about it all the time. So
Powerhouse is more or less like a religion, so to speak, at the Kenya Mass Communication. It's the strongest club besides CU. This is a cult in the sense that why would you have somebody who finished more than 20 years ago still wanting to get to know what's going on, still wanting to come over and assist in developing the aspects that we have, still feeling belonged, still having participating in various various structures, like having a Facebook a page, having what we call WhatsApp. We are so connected. I administrate more than 5 groups of former Powerhouse friends, and we even have a welfare of some sort. Whenever we have any distress call, whenever we have anything good, reunions, we always come together, and there's no team that would do that. I know of Kakamega High School, but I would still believe that because of the nature of the students we have, some of them end up working in the same office. You end up going to Citizen, we end up going to KBC, and KBC we have an office for producers. We call it a classroom. These were people who are in the same year at the same time in KMC. If you go to Royal Media Services, you'll find that quite a number of them were from KMC. So these are guys who finish and work in the same environment. They are still connected. They can still remember what happened. They are talking about the same stories. And I know on your page, we have had OJ, we've had ABEL MUTUA, we have had NJUGUSH, still being talking fondly about Powerhouse, and it's Powerhouse, as they have said, what that brought them to where they are today.
So, how do you identify the talents? Like, how do you pick? McKenna is okay. You're suitable. You're not in Powerhouse, but I think you can do well.
Yes, yeah.
Just by seeing me.
I have, and that's why I still come back to my alumni team. What I do, I'm also an adjudicator. Yeah. I'm also a facilitator with the National Drama Festival, and many times when I travel to adjudicate or facilitate elsewhere, you realize that I identify some talent. Like, just have identified a talent, the best spoken word speaker from high school, that is Robert Joto, who was the best performing art spoken word artist. I talked to the teacher and I told the teacher, please, if this boy finishes from 4, please allow him to come and apply at KMC. And the young man is now doing sound techniques. He's now in here. He just, he began his program not more than 4 weeks ago, and he's here. So I always tell the teachers, and they know, why would you waste a good talent to go and do architecture? And somebody that is so good in this field, why would you waste him? If, for instance, the likes of OJs, Abel Mutuas, the NJUGUSHs went to do some other programs, they would be lost in that trade. Yeah. But they were given a chance by their teachers in terms of career guidance to come to Kenya Mass Communication and be able to do what they like. Kenya Mass Communication entirely is all about showbiz. If you're doing television programs production, if you're doing radio programs production, you're doing film, you are doing BJ, broadcast journalism, basically your life is actually domiciled in performing arts. Yeah. You are either going to be a producer, you are either going to be a presenter, you are either going to be a director or a screenwriter or script writer of some sort. So your life is domiciled in content creation and content development. So what happens with these young people when they come here? Some of them we already have scouted for them before because of our indulgence in Kenya National Drama Festival. Some of them have been referred by their teachers. Some of them have been referred by our former students. Or some of them have been referred because KMC is a big name. It's already a sell. And you'll never see many times going on every channel advertising our programs. Our programs and our name is a sell by itself. You get the point?
Yes.
So when these young people come here, we have what we call auditioning and casting. We ask all of them we have a day where we always have a talk. We have what we call a dinner talk on issues of clubs and societies. And I am in charge of that particular area. I talk to these students about what can make you thrive at the Kenya Mass Communication. You have talent. And by the way, some of them have been in schools that do not have or do not embrace talent development. But they still have, talent cannot die. Yeah. Talent cannot die. If they come here, we mix them with those who have talent, and we have amongst our former students, we have those who train them. We allow them. The director allows them to come over and share what they did have with those who have come, those who have raw talent. Some of them are in the media houses. They are doing very, very well. I have one who comes all the time and talk at studio very late in the evening, but still have to come over and share with us. Comes early before goes to the studio, yeah, to either to read news or to do special effects or do After Effects in the studios. So basically, it is important that we have that kind of movement, that we have that culture. You know, developing a culture that anybody can develop, anybody can nurture his talent, and those who have talent can develop the talent. That is what we have in Kenya's Mass Communication. We provide you with an opportunity to come and showcase what you have, and we allow the first years to regroup and develop their own content, rehearse among themselves, and come and showcase to us.
Yes.
And that's how we are able to say, you can be a director, you can be a screenwriter, you can be a scriptwriter, you can be an actress, you can be an actor, you can be a poet, you can be a spoken word poet, you can be a mimer, if you like, and many others. And these people now, we assign them different groups or different assignments depending on the areas of interest, and we move on and we flourish. But something also very important, our former students come here. And when they also identify talent in you, they will pick you either over the weekend or the afternoon or the evening. You can go and perform it in some of their programs, either as an actress, either as an actor, or even sometimes being an AD or being just a screenwriter, adding value to the script and all that. So this is how we manage the talent at the Kenya Mass Communication. And by the way, you realize that all of them who come and join the Powerhouse, they never move an inch. They stay put for 3 years. Even if they have left after 3 years, they'll still come and get to know what's going on. They want to assist in blocking. They want to assist in dancing, just, assisting the best female, first female, second female dancers do their trade. This is how we manage to make sure that this particular activity is a movement of some sort.
Mr. Buhere, when you talk about identifying talents, there's a certain interview we did with OJ a few days ago.
Yes, I'm a great man, yes.
Yeah, a very great man. Mm-hmm. So he told us that you identified him while he was still in high school.
Yes, yeah.
Can you at least give us a short of what you remember about OJ back then?
Yeah, OJ is a very interesting young man. Very interesting young man in the sense that I identified him when he was in Form 3. I had been sent by the Ministry of Education to adjudicate in Nakuru district by then, and again went there later on to adjudicate in the Rift Valley. I remember Nakuru is in Rift Valley, and the young man was in Nakuru High. So he was very agile and very talented in performance of the narrative, oral narrative. Yeah. After finishing that, I told Mwalimu, by then we had Mr. Gaguta, then we had Mr. Silas Temba, then we had Mr. Munga. Mr. Munga, we call him Daktari. I told them, please, when this young man finishes, please make sure he comes to Kenya's Mass Communication. Already I had identified him earlier. In Form 3, would you imagine? Yes. The young man still has 1 year in Form 3, and that was April, by the way. He also still has chance in Form 4. So 2 years later, the young man, I still make a follow-up with him. I look for the teachers, Mr. Kiguta, I look for Mr. Silas Temba, and I look for Mr. Munga. Mm-hmm. And this young people is able to come to KMC. He comes here and he's at home. He has found his home at Kenya's Mass Communication. Yeah. And that was the first time he was traveling to Nairobi. And he was domiciled in Nakuru. Ni kijana ya Nyandarua huko.
Hi guys.
Kijana ya Nyandarua. So he was very happy to be in Nairobi. And he's very light. Tunakuwa namuita mzungu.
Light skin.
Light skin. And alikuwa anasumbua. Kusumbua in a very good way. Yeah. So the young man arrived here, and straight away we gave him roles. Wow. We gave him roles to be an actor. We gave him roles to be a narrator. And in that year, when he arrived here, we had the Dogs. The play the play was based in Nairobi, and we went all the way to Mombasa, 206, to present our play, The Dogs. The play was another comedy. Now, for OJ, it was very funny. OJ had to be the owner of the home. And then Ninja was to be the watchman.
Ninja or mother-in-law?
Mother-in-law.
Oh my God.
But Ninja was a little more authoritative, and Ninja somehow was very powerful in terms of authoritative and powerful.
Yeah.
And you know, OJ is very, 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 very funny. So he could not be the master of the home.
Yeah.
He could not be the master of the home. So to make him to become a watchman, and we do know that light-skinned cannot be watchmen most of the time, because we always associate with light skin with power, with money and all that. We had to make it to be comedy. So Ninja becomes the master of the home, and he becomes the watchman. The play was comedy 24/7, and you begin from laughing from the beginning up to the end. The play was a great sell.
Yeah.
So that's how we did it. And from that time, OJB was the best actor going on. Performing artist, and to be a performing artist, you need to be agile.
Yeah.
Every action you do in any item, you are outstanding. He comes to the dance is very good. We have even used a soloist. Would you imagine? Being a soloist in Luya.
Yeah.
The young man is very, very good. We have used him in narratives. We have used him in play production as an actor.
Yeah.
So he comes out to be the best performing artist, best actor, all the years running.